Hi, I'm Bry Cox with BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com, and for this week's Q&A, I'm actually combining two questions. One, a photographer asked me about commander mode on my camera, and the second, a photographer asked me about metering, and particularly how to use a meter. So let's talk about the meter first, since it's in my hand. I talk a lot about a meter, particularly when you're using off-camera flash. And so the question is, okay, I bought a meter. I don't want to read the manual. Just tell me how to use it. I don't know if that's quite, but the point is, how do I use this meter? It's like there's so many things it can do. There's so many things. All right, so keep in mind, cameras have three settings: ISO, shutter, f-stop. Those three settings, the only three settings you can set. Everything else about the cameras tries to make those three things seem easy or automatic or something. So all my meter is going to do is give me those three numbers. So there's basically, when I turn it on, the first thing you want to do is set your ISO. That'd be your first number. And then I have a few modes. One is, it has a little sun. This is my Sekonic meter, by the way. It's the L as in Lima 758DR, as in Delta Romeo. So this is my particular meter. Really, any meter is great. But in this particular meter, there's a sun, which just means ambient light. Like if I'm outdoors using, say, natural light or anything, I want to meter that sun and see what that reading is. Then if I'm adding flash, or even if I'm in a studio, I'll change the mode to flash mode and see what those settings are. And then, of course, set my camera accordingly. And here's the big thing. Combining flash with sunlight is a little bit tricky, but I have a full video on that. It's actually a free video. It's on my website, and it's actually a free video that gets emailed to you. So if you're not on my email list, join my email list. It comes as one of 4 free videos. It just comes emailed to you. And I have a system of simplifying this whole idea of how do you mix flash with outdoor light, and how do you do it in such a way where you get to control everything, how bright the background is, how bright the foreground is, and just some really quick ways of thinking about it and doing basically lighting anywhere. So there you go, your meter. The big thing is set your ISO, and then make sure you're in the right mode, sunlight or flash mode. And then when you pop this, read those numbers. Okay, the second question was on commander mode. And what commander mode is it's kind of like an infrared way that your camera talks to a flash. So if I have a flash off on scene somewhere and I want to control it, I can control it with commander mode. How do I use commander mode? I don't use commander mode at all, because it's clunky and it's unreliable, because it's infrared. And infrared, think about it. If you're outside in the sun, what sunlight? Sunlight's infrared. So there's a lot of interference. What I don't want is that when I go to take a picture and that flash doesn't work, right? I don't want that. I want my flash to go off every single time. So I shoot everything manually, and I use the radios. My particular radios of choice when I'm on the road or outside out of the studio are these Pocket Wizard Flex and Mini. So I have a little Mini on, that's my transmitter. And then over here, I have the Flex. And this is actually a transceiver. You can actually buy a few of these and make one a transmitter, one receiver, whatever. And flash goes on top of it. And then I gaffer tape everything to make sure that's really steady and secure. That way, the flash thinks it's connected to the camera by a cord. It's going to go off every single time without fail. I'm not going to get any interference from infrared. People go, yeah, but what if I want to go turn that light up, but I don't want to walk over, right? I mean, there's little adapters you can do, but I don't know what the big deal is of just walking over and turning it up a little bit or turning it down. The nice thing about these radios too, though, is that there's some occasions, very rare, but some occasions when I want to shoot TTL. Maybe I want to just kill that sun. I need a lot of output. All I have to do is switch my flash to TTL. I don't switch anything else, right? The radios take care of the computations and how much light and when to fire through that curtain to make sure everything works. All I have to do is shoot. Again, I'm going to make sure my camera, though, is always on manual so that the background is always exactly right. The radios will take care of the flash output. Then as soon as I'm good to go and I maybe want to go back to manual, I just switch my flash back to manual. Everything continues to work. So my answer on commander mode, I don't use commander mode. I just bought a couple radios and I use those instead. So there you go. There are my answers for this week's questions. If you have a question, send it to me and let's get those questions answered. Again, my website, BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com. BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com. Until next time, America.